I've been crashing out for like 2 days. This is a huge commitment. Obviously, I'm like deeply uncomfortable right now, and it's honestly kind of embarrassing how addicted I feel like I am. I felt like I was having a physical withdrawal symptom from something that I was not ingesting. I think I'm like having a mental breakdown or something, I don't know. I've just felt terrible for so long. I talk about it so much and I'm so sorry. I feel like in every video I'm like, oh my god, I'm so depressed. It's like literally so annoying. Being on social media with like the mental state that I'm in perpetuates the negative narratives that I have in my head. I can't help but compare myself to other people online, and that's just a natural side effect of being on the internet. I wouldn't even consider myself chronically online anymore because I actually do manage my screen time really, really well. It literally used to be the way that I would wake myself up from sleeping. I'd use Instagram and like the brightness of my screen to get me out of that sleep state. It's been probably 6 months to a year since I've broken that habit. The only two apps that I really, really, really have a problem with is Instagram and TikTok. Everything else, like I don't use X or Twitter. I don't use Reddit. I don't really have a problem being on YouTube. I don't even use shorts. Like if I have Instagram and TikTok, like why do I need to go on YouTube shorts? I don't use Snapchat. There's Substack. At first I kind of thought Substack was like a healthier version of social media, and I still kind of think it is, but it's just like a quote unquote productive version of like Twitter. I like that you can read articles on Substack, but the like short little posts, it's just kind of like Twitter. Like I appreciate the article aspect of it. Oh, and there's Pinterest, but like I don't really think that's even harmful either. Instagram and TikTok are the only two apps that I really have problems with. When I'm not going to my day job, I have the two apps blocked by an app blocker for a majority of the day. So with all of these boundaries, I've really been able to improve my relationship to how I use social media. It's still just not great. We can go ahead and look at my screen time. My screen time in general averages about 4 hours, which I feel like is not bad. It literally used to be like 8 to 10 hours, which I don't even know how that's possible because there's like not even that much time in a day, basically. I use Instagram 6 hours a week, which, you know what, like hindsight, that's not that bad. And I use TikTok 2.5 hours, which really isn't that bad either. I don't know why it feels worse. Oh, let's look at the week before last week. TikTok was like 4 hours and 33 minutes and Instagram was 6 hours and 47 minutes. Okay, so I'm actually really consistent with how often I use Instagram weekly. If it's 6 hours a week, it's like roughly an hour a day. Less than that. That's not bad. I don't know why I'm like shocked. I thought it was way more than that. Today, I used Instagram for an hour and 37 minutes, which I feel like is higher than I usually would use it, but that's because I posted something on Instagram today. So definitely when I post things, I'm on it way more. And then for TikTok, I was only on it for like 36 minutes today. That's really good, actually. And yesterday, I was on Instagram for 23 minutes and TikTok for 15 minutes. What? I don't even have a problem. What am I talking about? I was not expecting this data. I literally thought my screen time was gonna be insane. But I don't know, it just like feels like I am on my phone all the time. Why does it feel like that? Okay, that's interesting. Regardless of whether or not my stats are bad or good, it doesn't feel good. The only way that it feels okay to consume Instagram content or TikTok content is on Instagram, I like to see what my friends are up to. Once I start hitting the explore page and once I start hitting reels, that's when I start to feel the rotting cycle occur. And then on TikTok, I have like a handful of influencers or creators that I consistently watch. Otherwise, once we hit that For You page rot, it just starts to feel terrible. Like I can feel the bombardment of like all of these opinions and different people's life experiences like crowd my brain. Once I started doing TikTok, because I used to do TikTok, I was spending like 6 to 8 hours on TikTok a day, not only consuming content but making content. It was kind of this period after I had decided to stop making TikTok, and I decided to stop making TikToks because I was noticing how being on this app constantly was affecting my mental health, and I had this like moral conflict about how can I make content on this app that contributes so negatively to my mental health. If it's affecting me in this way, why am I gonna add fuel to the fire? So I stopped making TikToks, and then I was just consuming it. It was actually better when I was making TikToks and consuming them, because at least on one end I'm spending my time making something, being excited about something, expressing myself. Once I removed that variable, all I was doing was consuming. That's when it really started to get bad. The first time that I deleted TikTok off of my phone, I literally could not sleep that night. I had so much anxiety. At like 3-4 in the morning, I like woke up having the worst panic attack. The only way that I could think to self-soothe was to download TikTok. And that's what I did. I downloaded TikTok, I scrolled for like 30 minutes and I felt better. And then I deleted it again. And eventually I didn't have TikTok on my phone or any of my devices for like a year. Whenever I wanted to watch TikTok, I would re-download the app and then I would delete it once I was done. But that honestly like worked really well for me until I took this trip to Asia and I was like, oh my god, I want to make TikToks. I don't know why I want to make TikToks. And I did. Then I got a new phone. I didn't know that your drafts don't get saved when you get a new phone. So all of my drafts were gone. Now I have like no reason to keep TikTok on my phone other than I'm not ready to part ways with her. I tend to use social media as an escape, number one, and number two, I stopped watching TV. Growing up, like watching TV was the way that I would cope with a lot of my problems, which kind of makes sense for why I have this particular relationship with social media. I have like an escapist tendency toward media, but recently I stopped watching television kind of altogether. I started to not enjoy the fact that I had to make a decision on what show to watch. The great thing about the algorithm is that it's going to feed you things based off of your activity and you don't have to make any decisions. So that's ultimately what I also use TikTok and Instagram for right now. I use it to unwind. I use it as my entertainment at the end of the day when I want to turn my brain off. I think if I'm using it in that way, that's okay. The problem is the line between me using it for the sole purpose of relaxation and entertainment is too blurry to the line of me using it as an escape and a coping mechanism, a distraction, procrastination. Also, it's a highlight reel, and I know it's a highlight reel, but it doesn't mean that I'm not comparing myself. It happens automatically, whether I want it to or not, I'm comparing. Also, I think it's really awesome that people like share their perspectives on things, and I think it can be really helpful, but there's just too much information and there's no filter to the kind of quality of information that you're getting. Like, there are people who should not be sharing their perspective online that are, and you know, you can argue that I do the same, but that's a topic for another day. There's too much information, there's too much bad news, and there's too many opinions. I don't usually walk away from a scroll feeling that great. Like, sometimes I do find a gem and I can put it down and be like, oh my god, now I'm so inspired, like let me go do something with my life. But that's so rare. More often than not, I find myself scrolling when I like really wanted to do something productive 20 minutes ago. Hopefully we all know how scrolling affects our brain receptors. I'm not a psychologist or a brain expert, but there is plenty of information on the internet that will explain to you how these apps are designed to hijack your mind. The amount of time that I feel like I waste checking social media, I feel like I could use doing all of the other things that I need to get done and want to do. I have this nice little in-between period this week in between jobs, so I think this is a great time for me to kind of reset and center myself in between this old chapter and new one. When I get emotional, like if I'm upset about something, I immediately go to scrolling as a way to self-soothe, and I don't really want that to be my coping mechanism. I think the reason why I'm so quick to do that is because it works so well and so quickly. I don't know what else I would do to comfort myself in a highly emotional situation that would kind of distract me quickly. What really is motivating me is my curiosity. I think it's gonna be really hard. I think I'm gonna struggle. I'm gonna struggle more than I think I'm gonna struggle. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm really curious to see like what I discover. And it's also conflicting too because obviously like I'm pursuing a career like literally on here, so cutting social media out completely is not something that I want to do or will do, but I do want to somehow establish a relationship with social media where it has control over me instead of me having control over it. Obviously, if I fucking falter at some point, I will let you know. I do kind of cheat on here sometimes too, so that's my problem. Okay, bye-bye. Anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed. This is usually the first point in the day where I would open Instagram. I put on a long vlog instead. I did have one moment before I came downstairs where I was like, oh my god, I need to check Instagram. But it passed. That's the thing, like when you just let yourself sit with the urge, be uncomfortable, the moment will always pass. I finally journaled. That felt really nice to get everything that has been boiling in my brain out. This is usually another point in which I feel like I want to check Instagram. Honestly too, vlogging, talking about it, doing this instead of going on my phone is like, I feel like this is replacing that habit. It's kind of satisfying me in a certain way, and it's also disrupting my urge to do it. The little increments in which I check my socials, it adds up at the end of the day and really delays me getting shit done. And then I end up feeling bad about myself. Like that's also a source of my poor mental state. I will engage in this bad habit and then I feel guilty about doing it, and then I beat myself up over doing it. And then it's just this vicious cycle. And then while I'm doing it, I'm like looking at all of these lives that I wish I was living like online, and that just perpetuates the negative self-talk that I have in my head. So we're just not engaging in any of that right now, which is awesome. I'm not gonna lie, at this point I'm fiending. When it gets to the end of the day and I start to like fade a little bit, this is really where it's happening. Also, remember when I was like, I wonder what I'm gonna do when I have a mental breakdown or get really emotional about something or get upset about something and I don't have access to my coping mechanism? Well, I didn't expect it to happen so soon, but that did in fact happen today. I just lay down and kind of let myself sit with the emotions and just let myself feel it. Maybe like my breakdown had to do with the fact that I'm like cleansing myself of cheap dopamine. I kind of want to be careful when I say that though, because that's not how our brain actually works. Like I'm not cleansing myself of dopamine. Whether or not I'm using social media, dopamine and serotonin are always present in your brain. Anywho, today's day 2. Loving it, honestly. So far today, I haven't had too big of an urge. I've kind of just been satisfied by watching YouTube videos. I also feel really off physically. I feel like I can't like catch a full breath. Whatever, I made a doctor's appointment. Like maybe I'm going through some kind of like mental detox cleanse. Anywho, I do have to work today in like 2-ish hours, so I'm gonna get some other work house stuff done before I have to go. My job that I was supposed to start this week got pushed back to next week again due to construction delays, so I have a lot of free time on my hands for like 2 weeks. Going to work was actually really good for me. Ugh. I don't know what's wrong with me, but ever since yesterday, I had this like coffee. I don't know. I'm blaming the coffee as the trigger, but I'm like shocked I still feel like insane. I don't know. I think I'm like having a mental breakdown or something. I don't know. I've literally been having a panic attack all day. Right now, I'm not going to social media to self-soothe. Everything that I would normally distract myself from, I'm having to face. Like maybe there's nothing actually wrong with my health, but like this is like a physical manifestation of everything that I've just been distracting myself from for the last like year or so. I have this idea to put some of my videos on Spotify. So last night I was kind of going through my channel, selecting videos that I wanted to put on there, which meant I had to go back and like rewatch like all of my videos, and I'm not done yet, but starting from almost the beginning, watching my evolution and my growth as a person. 2 years ago, or a year ago even, I just had so much more light and hope. I feel like I had more of a foundational way of life. Like, I don't know how to explain. I feel like right now I'm questioning myself. I don't know if I'm making any of the right choices, and I'm a very intuitive person, but I feel like I can't even really hear my intuition, or I'm doubting it. I'm doubting it because I follow my intuition, and I don't know if I'm being impatient. My life doesn't look like the way that I want it to or imagine it to. And maybe I also am like feeling really strange because I'm absolutely just right in the middle of transitioning jobs and it keeps getting delayed. So the process has been really fucking slow. Oh my god, I don't even know. It's also just like the age where I kind of feel like I should be further along than I am. The state of the world is also like so insane right now, so that like definitely doesn't help my existential dread. I would not have to deal with any of this if I could just have a little scroll. But that like just pushes it all aside. I'm literally only on day 2. Babes, I'm on day 2. I just read this article in Substack about things to do after work instead of scrolling. Obviously, it touches on what scrolling does to your brain. I'm kind of like, maybe the reason why I'm feeling so funky is because constantly scrolling puts your nervous system in a mild state of fight or flight. Removing that variable maybe has dysregulated my already dysregulated nervous system. The way that I would regulate my dysregulation is by scrolling, and now that I don't have that, I've just like induced a state of panic maybe. I'm kind of hoping though that this is just like purging. I just feel like so insane. I'm like medically trying to diagnose myself because I'm like, what? Why do I feel like so crazy? But you know what? This has happened to me once before. The first time I deleted TikTok off of my phone after having it for 2 years. That was a really interesting experience because I felt like I was having a physical withdrawal symptom from something that I was not ingesting. I feel like this might even be similar. Like, there might not even be anything wrong with my physical health. It's just the withdrawal of fucking being on social media is manifesting itself in physical symptoms. This article also makes a good point about how the moments in between are not filler space. It is your life. It makes up your life. I think every single time that I would scroll, I would feel this immense guilt or like be very aware that I was scrolling, and I didn't like that I was filling my in-between moments with scrolling, but I wouldn't do anything about it because like this is a huge commitment. Obviously, I'm like deeply uncomfortable right now, and it's honestly kind of embarrassing how addicted I feel like I am. And the thing is, like, as we established in the very beginning, my screen time isn't even bad. Like, actually, I don't even have that big of a problem. I had a way bigger problem a year or 2 ago. Now I feel like I have it under control, and it still has this like massive effect on me. I did have a little bit of a rot, but instead of rotting on fucking TikTok and Instagram, I rotted it on YouTube. I watch a bunch of interviews on the production of Wuthering Heights, which is a movie that I had recently seen, and I find it really motivating to learn more about how things are made because I am someone who like makes things and I love doing it. So learning about other people's process, I just find it to be like fuel for my own. And then instead of scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, I read an article. So I would say that's improvement, and I do feel better. And I honestly did check in with myself, and I was like, do I have it in me right now to like do something productive? Because there was like plenty of things that I could have done, but I've been crashing out for like 2 days. It got better when I was at work, being around people and distracting myself with the task, but work is also a huge part of why I feel not great at this stage in my life, because I've been at this job for 3 years and I'm really understimulated. I'm understimulated at work, I'm understimulated outside of work. Not being on Instagram for like 2 days, I feel like I articulated myself very well just now. I mean, we'll see when I edit this, and I think I noticed that I didn't quite say like and as much as I usually do. If you think about it, when you're scrolling and constantly zapping your brain with this shit. Your brain is chaotic and it can't really follow a thought all the way through, which is I think why I tend to like and a lot, and probably many people. I feel like I'm calming down a little bit now, so thank God. I'm gonna take a shower and I feel like I can actually probably be a little bit productive now, so that's good. It's day 3. Finally, I feel like my attention this morning felt very concise. Usually when I wake up in the morning, I kind of wake up in a frenzy and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get my day started and I don't want to waste any time. And I always feel really rushed going through my day because I want to make sure that I'm optimizing like every single second. This morning when I was making my breakfast, I actually felt like really present in making my breakfast. I feel like my attention was focused on everything that I was doing. It didn't feel like there was like chaos or like noise in my brain. Thank God, because I feel like, oh my God, my brain is just like that one meme. I do have work later today, but until then, I am going to work on a video and also depop, babe, depop. I've had so many clothes to sell for like 2 years and I just have been way too lazy and daunted by the task, but it's time. It's finally time for me to get rid of my stuff. The theme is just cleansing. It is a new year. It's time, babe. Okay, literally finished a video. This is crazy because I am usually like weeks behind. The way that it feels for me is like I'm completing a task so that I can check Instagram, so that I can have that break and that escape. I don't have that option right now, so I'm kind of forced to just move from one thing to another, and like that's what I want, okay? Like that is literally like what the purpose of this whole thing is, but I'm just like knowing that the amount that I consume is a time suck. Knowing that versus doing it and then actually also seeing it happen in your life is like totally different. I just always feel like I don't have enough time to get everything that I need to do done, but I do. Granted, I'm not working right now, so I have a lot of extra time on my hands than I otherwise would, but I'm really taking advantage of the time that I have now and trying to get ahead of that schedule because I know once that happens, it's gonna be a big adjustment and I'm gonna be like mentally so exhausted. Oh my God. Ugh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm craving a motherfucking scroll. I'm craving a scroll. Went to work, went to dinner, back now. Something else that I was thinking about regarding the scroll is when I drink alcohol. Oh my God, I love a scroll. Are you fucking kidding me? That combo, that's peak life. The way that I like absolutely unwind is like I'll go to dinner, have a few drinks, come back, get clean, get all cozy in my bed, and scroll. Not that I really had alcohol at dinner today. I'm just thinking about this weekend. If I go to dinner and I have a few bevs, because usually on the weekend, like I'll have a few bevs. Afterwards, I'm gonna wanna scroll. But, okay, so here's the thing. Originally, I was only gonna do this cleanse for 5 days because by the end of the 5 days, I would have started my new job. And I wanna see what's going on online. Like, I wanna see what they're posting, so I was gonna just end it at 5 days. Like, that's long enough. But now that my job is not starting for another like fucking week, I'm like, I can just go the whole weekend, just see like how I fare. If I'm already doing 5 days, what's another 2? And I might as well just like commit while I'm doing it, right? Whatever. Anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. It's like Pinterest. Okay, Pinterest. Ooh. Ooh. I feel like I'm teasing myself right now. I think I need to get off Pinterest. Oh my God, what do I do? I'm too tired really to use my brain properly. I can watch some YouTube. I don't feel like watching YouTube. I want to scroll, but I don't want to scroll. That's the thing. I don't actually want to scroll. I just want to see what's going on with the people. Why do I want to see so bad? I'm nosy. Ultimately, I'm nosy. I literally just ended up doing work. I haven't even opened YouTube. Am I okay? And now it's bedtime. That's tea. I didn't have to do all that shit and I just did. Good night. Good morning. Day 4. I like feel revived and clean and fresh. It's like actually nuts. I haven't had a craving today, so that's good. I woke up like not tired either. I feel like I wake up every single morning and I'm like, fuck my life, fuck me, I'm exhausted, exhausted, exhausted. I go to banana matcha. I've been really into banana. It's Friday, went to ballet. That's my little exercise for the day. Today's like a chores day. I have to like clean my room. I think I'm gonna do something tonight. I just don't know what yet. I've been listening to Charlie's new album. I love it, I love it, I love it. Maybe like the reason why I haven't really been able to listen to music without feeling really overstimulated is because like I'm so overstimulating myself in every other form of media that like music just feels really loud to me. It's absolutely day 6. It's definitely gotten so much easier for me to get through my day without thinking about it's so ridiculous. Like I'm talking to my sister about it and she's like, you get cravings? And I'm like, yeah. I ended up deciding like to go a full 7 days just because I'm like, I did 5 days, what's another 2? Let's just fully commit. This is kind of an in-between moment where I just got done, you know, having lunch with my mom and my sister and I'm about to go do something else. It'd be so perfect if I could have a little scroll right now, but it's not like I don't have other things to do. I just don't really feel like doing them right now. Alright! This is actually a perfect example of me being able to utilize my time more effectively. Because like what I would probably do right now is scroll, but since I can't do that, instead I'm using this like in-between stage to tidy up my room, because really by the end of the week my room ends up being so messy because I don't always take the time to tidy up. But hey, I used my 20-minute intermission period as doing this rather than scrolling. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Alright. Also, what the fuck? It's March 1st. It's March 1st. When did that happen? I literally feel like I've done more this week than I have in the last 6 months. And I wish I was exaggerating, which it probably is an exaggeration, but that's not even how I feel. I've checked off like things that I've had on my to-do list for the last 2 years within this week, which I think is nuts. Anywho, it is officially the end of day 7. Let's reflect. I think it was actually, honestly, a little bit easier than I thought it was gonna be. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely struggled, but I thought it was gonna be like really, really, really hard. And it wasn't. It wasn't easy, okay? But it wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I think the root of my depression has kind of stemmed from feeling like I don't do enough with my life and my time. And then I would go online and compare myself and my life to what I saw online. I would compare my life to others without making any lasting change in my own, because I have this cycle that I'm aware of where I will feel really, really bad and then I will make a change and then I'll feel really good that I made the change, but I won't stick with the change. This challenge was a result of me feeling really shitty, and like I feel like I've kind of exhausted all of these other solutions or remedies, that this was kind of like the only other thing that I could really think of, because I do everything else right, wellness and health wise. So I think the reason why I feel drastically different is because without the time suck that social media is, I have now reclaimed that time and I am using it in the ways that I want to. The compulsion to check had control over me. It still does, to be honest. Like, it still does. Like, I wouldn't say that I have broken my addiction or the habit whatsoever. Improvement, yes, but broken, no. I wasn't expecting to have like a physical reaction to not being able to scroll online, which I don't know why shocked me a little bit, because the first time I cold turkey quit TikTok, I had a similar experience. Saying that out loud is absolutely insane, but like scientifically, if we are to examine how social media and short form content targets certain areas of the brain, it really isn't that crazy to say that I've experienced physical withdrawal symptoms from social media. I also wasn't really expecting to feel as good as I do now. I also really wasn't expecting to be as productive as I have been in the last week. I also wasn't expecting to be able to focus as well as I have been. I've always felt like my attention span and my ability to focus on something was not great. Really, the hardest part about getting anything done or being productive for me has always been the starting. I never want to do something before I start doing it, but once I start doing it, I actually have no problem like remaining in it. And I also don't feel burnt out at all. Like everything that I have been productive with in the last week are all things that I really want to do and I've wanted to do for a really long time. And granted, it's also been really helpful that I am in between jobs right now, so I have a lot of free time. It would definitely be a lot harder to kind of balance all of this if I had transitioned from my last job to my next job without an in-between period. So I'm kind of lucky for that. I think it's also kind of made me realize I always kind of go back and forth with my mental health, because growing up, like literally since I was a toddler, I've struggled with social anxiety. As a teenager, I think my anxiety kind of fueled my depression, and then there was a point in college where I kind of found certain practices that helped heal my mental health. I don't know why, like when I experienced that, I kind of thought that I would never struggle with my mental health again, which I guess was a bit naive of me. I'm going into my 4th year out of college, and I think every year I've had out of college, it progressively got a little bit worse. The first year out of college was amazing, and honestly the second year out of college was also great. It was really like last year where I started to notice a decline in my mental health. Now reflecting on removing this variable from my life, the source or the fuel to my poor mental health is how I perceive myself to utilize my time. And it makes sense because the biggest fear that I have in my life is not taking advantage of time before I die and like wasting it and regretting how I live. And so if I'm spending my in-between moments on my phone, that's not me experiencing my life or even taking action to experience a life that I want. And a lot of it is about the journey, right? So it's not fair for me to compare my life to someone else when I'm not even doing anything about it. Like my life, like day to day, still doesn't look different from a week ago, but the difference is that I'm actually taking action. I mean, even just in like my day-to-day relationships as well, I feel so much less friction in speaking to people, and I feel so much less judgment when I speak to people. A lot of the judgment that I felt was definitely not because anyone else was judging me, it's because I'm judging myself. I was doing that because I was not doing anything to make my life different, but I was still feeling bad about my life being the way that it is. I'm really happy that I did this, and moving forward, I definitely need some really strict restrictions around this, because I'm so sorry, but genuinely, like I cannot, I don't think, use social media unrestricted and also like feel good about myself and my life. I'm not sure what kind of regulations I'm going to place on myself moving forward, but it's gonna be something really strict. As much as I want to be able to like use Instagram whenever I want, it's just way too easy for me to slip back into that habit. And now that I have this momentum, I definitely don't want to waste it. I also feel like maybe the reason why I guess my goals have felt really slow is because I move at a really slow pace. But if I have all of this time now back this week, I haven't moved any faster. I just have all of this time that I was previously using on scrolling. I think if I maintain this level of discipline regarding scrolling, I might even be able to achieve like the things that I want to a lot faster. Also, like I think a lot of goals and like manifestation and like all of that stuff has to do with like your energy, of course. Like, I mean, not to get spiritual with it, but like if we're gonna get spiritual with it, like manifestation and all of that stuff, it has to do with your energy and your frequency and your vibration and whatever. And I feel like if I'm constantly vibrating at this like negative, self-deprecating, hypercritical, hypersensitive state, then I'm not really like setting myself up to be able to receive the things that I want. In the state that I currently feel, I feel so much more in like a flow state. And I think that is the state where things start to happen. Also, something that I really noticed is that I really felt like I got in touch with like my whimsy again this week. There was something that I was talking about with my sister where I felt like when I was little, I was so imaginative as a child, and I genuinely thought that anything was possible, and I thought anything was possible because I was myself. And now I feel the exact opposite. I think things are not possible because I am myself, which is like so sad. But I really felt like I got back in touch with that like childlike sense of possibility. My brain feels so clean and cleansed. My nervous system feels the same way. Like I don't feel as like on edge, like literally all the time. All that being said, I'm gonna go and destroy this now. I have to go onto my Opal app and leave my session. Oh my god, I originally had this for 5 days, but I ended up doing 7. I've been focusing for 165 hours and 19 minutes. But I'm gonna officially stop the session now. Bye-bye. Oh my god, stop. Oh my god, people are engaged. I actually knew this was happening. Trying to use it for those like not as harmful. Oh my god, I'm so tired. You were so cute. You were just the cutest thing in the world. I love you. So perfect. I love you. Oh my god, you're so tough. So my cat is so fucking cute. To the things that I say that I'm gonna get. She's literally the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've been having a panic. Is adjacent with, I hope I'm using these words right. That's not good. I need like a new wardrobe. I actually just need a new life. It's 2016, babe. It's 2016, hello. It's 2026, babe. Get some things done that I've really wanted to get done that I haven't had time to. I also don't like the taste of almond milk. I feel like the taste of almond milk really overpowers the drink. I just like, I'm tasting the almond. I only had soy milk, but soy milk isn't that good for you either. So I'm just like, if I'm gonna have a bad milk, I'm just gonna do the oat milk. I don't drink oat milk every day anymore, so it's like, whatever. No one cares about what milk I drink.